Day one today with about 36, 37 folks from Georgia DOT. Going to be up in Gainesville here, Gainesville, Georgia. And day one is basically half a day of board work and then looking at a tree demonstration for the afternoon. We're going to be taking down a little oak tree that has some side lean. Kind of interesting.
All clear? Down. Tree's coming down. Back up. You know, what I find is all plans don't go exactly right. And if that would have went over there, it'd have been a miracle. Because we had how much sideways? A lot.
Got some pretty good storm situations setting up here. Some crisscross trees, big spring pole. These pines and the hardwoods in here are super tall, and so it's they're doing really good though. Everybody's been on target except for one, and they're getting them in the right spot. So very fortunate, but they have a little trouble with keeping the hinges, so we got to work on that a little bit this afternoon. But other than that, I think everything's going pretty good.
Marking 4 piles, putting 3 marks on each one. There's gonna be three people in each team. And so I've marked this one and got a spring pole, fairly large one, cut here and a cut here. And it's going to be kind of supported. Going to be interesting seeing how that one works out.
No, don't go back to your compression side. Keep cutting from that side. Go back to your original cut and just cut down. Down. More of that. Back up just a little bit. Use your tip and cut down in that same slot.
Team 2 has this mark on the overlog, and then we've got mark here and here on this sourwood. So they're going to have to plan this one out.
So that one didn't come down so far, did it?
No, sir.
So if you think about that now, it was dropping a little bit, but then it went up. Why did it do that?
Because it's sort of even.
You had a pivot down there, didn't you? If you cut your hinge off, you get a quick movement. So if you think about that, instead of continuing on up this way, because what if that would have went up higher? It could have come at you. So if you think about it, you never want to cut your hinge off till it rests. Once it rests, you could come back to the top and take the hinge off and be out of the way. But if you're bent over under it like that, then it could come at you as well as come up. You got a straight cut up here, and you've got pressure compression on that side up there too, because it's trying to move down the hill, isn't it? And so that's the reason why it's starting to pinch on the side closest to you. If you'd have put a slide notch down there, then you'd be creating a hinge as you cut down to the notch. And that way you're in control of when it releases. You could actually control it by loosening this side first and then finishing on this side. But if it starts to pinch there, how would you go back? Just like that one over there we did. How would you go back into it now to be able to cut that loose without binding? What position would your saw need to be in? You see, if you're good at feeling through a log, and that's what a lot of loggers do and a lot of storm guys do, you start thinking about it, you start to see where the movement is. So you reverse, don't you? Right? That's how good guys, they'll make a round around the log to see where that pressure is. But it's just much better to plan it before it goes. If you look at that or you make plans on a tree like this 2 or 3 times, pretty soon you're going to know what it's going to do. So now, if you're going to finish up your last cut on that, let's say you've rounded it around or whatever, where would your last cut be to release that? What position would your saw be in? You can't come in from the bottom because it's going to grab you.
The tree's coming up and it's going down.
So then where would... No. There you go. Because that side's going to pinch you. So you cut the tension side to the compression side. And it'll come apart. Just that simple. You about 4 or 5 inches back, right? Yeah. Lay it down flat on there. Get about 5 inches. So you should have been about 2.5 inches higher. Would have been perfect on it. But it's still, I mean, as long as you're in with about 10 inches, you're at 45. It really can't get to you. But if you stand over where you are right now, if it has side pressure, see, it's gonna come at you. Team 3, large pine on a hillside. 1 tree underneath. 2 cuts on top. A lot of pressure.
But you know, you want to set your hinge up a little bit. So you want to come up first and get your hinge set and then go down. But you did a great job boring through there. You had it down low and everything. But look, there's a lot of pressure on that one, wasn't there? Yeah. And if you'd had daylight to come up from underneath, it's going to start to bust. Just like we had yesterday felling trees. If you put a notch and you have a bore cut through and you got the hinge there, it takes the barber chair out. It takes the split out the same way. That's really what a barber chair is, it splits. So when you go through there and you establish a hinge that's somewhat bendable, as you cut down, there's no chances of that thing splitting. See, so you're still not through it, because when you undercut, you still didn't hit this lower corner over here. So if you think about it here, if I've got to cut this through, I go up underneath it all the way, I cut up a quarter to a half, and I overset and just cuts down at the same angle, and I don't have to worry about all that trying to figure out what it's doing. Just back up over there to your left a little bit and do the same thing. Underneath, come up halfway and overcut from the top.
There you go.
So as long as I do my cut right, I'm okay standing down there.
I mean, where can it get you? You got all the limbs cut on the other side, right? So if it rolls, all you got to think about is how far can the log roll. So with the offset cut there, it's supported.
Up from the bottom,
Yeah,
and then I'll come up.
and just offset. And you could go 2 or 3 inches if you got equipment coming in.
I couldn't hear you, hold on.
You could go 2 or 3 inches offset if you've got equipment coming in. Team 4 has 3 marks, 2 poplar trees kind of up off of the ground. I got to sever it off, Dakota.